My name is Dunya Mudara and I am professionally young. And I'm going to be sharing with you a few tips to help you work from home. A lot of us find ourselves working from home these days, and sometimes for the first time ever in our careers. So here are a few tips to help you cope. Tip number 1, make sure you have a dedicated workspace. Try to avoid working from the kitchen or from your bed or from anywhere that's usually very comfortable. Try to have a desk or an office space that you can use to get all of your work done, and especially if you have conference calls during the day. You want to make sure that your background is a bit professional for your boss and for colleagues to see. Tip number 2, make sure you dress in a professional way. You don't have to dress in a suit or a thobe or abaya like you do on your day-to-day basis at work, but try to dress a bit neat and make sure you're comfortable as well, because you'll be spending your whole working hours in that outfit. Tip number 3, make sure you stay hydrated and that you eat regularly. When we're in an office, we usually stick to a working hour that includes lunch as well. So when you're at home, it's easy to forget when lunch is. Make sure that you have a dedicated lunch hour, use the time to have lunch with your family, and make sure you're snacking regularly and drinking lots of water. Staying hydrated and staying full will help you focus on your work more, specifically when you're at home, because usually you're in a comfortable mindset. Tip number 4, make sure that your workspace is organized. Make sure that all of your electronics are fully charged and that you have electrical outlets to help you keep them charged during the day. Make sure your stationery is around you, any documents or notebooks that you need to get your work done. And finally, tip number 5, you're probably sharing a living space with a roommate or maybe your entire family. So it's very important to set boundaries when it comes to timing, specifically working hours, with your family. Make sure you have a discussion so that they can continue their normal life while you can continue your professional working hours. So set boundaries with yourself and with others to make sure that you're sticking to correct working hours. And I wish you the best of luck. Working from home is not very easy for a lot of us, but I'm sure with those tips, it'll be much easier for you. With a lot of free time that we have these days, a very good thing to spend your time to do is to rework your CV. Whether you're currently employed or looking for a new job, sometimes we forget to update our CVs with our recent experiences and the different jobs or internships that we experienced. So make sure that you're using your time at home right now to update your CV with the following tips. The most important thing in a CV is to be one page. You need to put all of your information in a neat, organized page that you'll probably benefit from the next few tips as well. Having a one-page CV will allow the employer to take a look at it very quickly and get an idea of the candidate that you are. And if they have any more questions or any more information that you feel like you want to give them that could be on a second or third page, they can probably just ask you in an interview. Make sure your CV is designed in a very simple and clear way. If you're applying for a corporate job, make sure it's not too colorful or with a lot of graphics. But if you're a designer or an artist, it needs to show your personality. So make sure that you're designing it according to the position that you're applying for. Showcase your experience. It's very important to show what job you had last or your current position. And make sure that your job experience is put together in a chronological order, with the most recent first and the latest at the end. Explain the tasks that you had when you were working at the company that you joined for a few years or for just a few months. Explaining the tasks that you were responsible for will help the employer understand if you're equipped for the position that you're applying for. Make sure you highlight your most relevant education. If you have a bachelor's degree or a diploma, make sure that's highlighted. If you have a few years' experience, you don't really need to mention your high school or even elementary school experience. If you have any professional certificates that you've recently studied that are related to the work that you're applying for, make sure that you highlight them first, because that will show the employer that you have the correct skills needed for the position. If you have any references that the employer can discuss your experience with, make sure that you mention them at the bottom of the CV, but always talk to your references first. Whether it's a professor in college or a previous manager or colleague, make sure you give them a heads up before you put down their contact information so that they're not surprised when a future employer is getting in touch with them. It's easy to get lost in a very long working day when you're in a very comfortable space like home. When you're in an office, it's very easy to stick to a schedule, but we're finding that more and more difficult while we're working from home. Make sure you're talking to your colleagues and your managers to make sure that you have a schedule, a fixed schedule that you can follow. It's very important to know what time you're waking up, what time work starts, what time your conference calls are, and what time projects are due during the day. Make sure that you're keeping up with your emails and that they're not overflowing. Some working days these days can be slow and some of them can be really fast, depending on the industry that you're in. So make sure that you're keeping in touch with your colleagues, even if it's through your phone, even if it's through conference calls or one of those apps that we're all using today. Make sure that you're keeping in touch with them so that time is under your control and is not running faster than the work pace that you're keeping up. It's important, like I said, to stick to your food schedule as well. Make sure you're taking regular breaks. When we're working from home, we're not really moving and talking to our colleagues like we would in a regular workspace. So make sure that you're getting a bit of an exercise in between your working day. If you have a dedicated workspace, it's also difficult that you're going to be just sitting there most of the time. So make sure if you have a conference call that doesn't include video, that you're connected to your audio and you're able to walk around or maybe stand up in your home office space, so at least you can get a bit of exercise in between. If you're living with your family, it's a great idea to have your lunch break with your family. So you get to see a lot of people around you, you get to talk to other people other than your colleagues, and you get to talk about things other than work. It's important to share a meal with people you care about. That will keep you motivated and keep you positive throughout the rest of the working day as you try to do your best, being the most productive from home. Now, there are a lot of things that we can do to be productive when we're working, but the most important thing is to not forget about your personal well-being. At the end of the day, you're trying to be the most productive self you can, as if you were in an office, but this time you're on your own at home. It's very important to stick to a healthy sleeping schedule. Specifically these days, when our sleeping patterns are all over the place. It's very important to know exactly when you need to wake up in order to have your breakfast, in order to get ready and look presentable to start your working day. Even if you're sending a few emails during the day, it's important to make yourself feel like you're your professional self that you usually are at work. When you're sleeping properly, it will help you focus and it will help you stay motivated when you're working as well. It's way more important to stick to correct working hours. So if you're working from 9 to 5, make sure that you're trying to get as much of your work done before 5 o'clock hits, so that at 5 or a few minutes after 5, you're ready to switch off your laptop, say goodbye to your colleagues for the day, and do your own thing. It's important to get some exercise in during your day as well. Specifically if you're sitting at your desk. Sometimes walking around during a conference call is not enough. So if you're able to do a few stretches after your long working day at home, that will help you a lot. These days, it's important to exercise your hobbies at home. So make sure that you have a few things to look forward to after your working day is done. So like I said, if you finish work at 5, you're shutting off your laptop, you're saying goodbye to your colleagues, what are you going to do after that? Make sure you have something to look forward to. So are you a painter? Do you draw? Are there your favorite YouTubers that you want to watch, maybe online? Do you have a few Instagram live sessions that you want to catch up on? Having something exciting and fun and something we're passionate about to look forward to after a working day from home will get you motivated and will get you excited to get the workday over with. Use your time to explore things online that you can make sure that you can fill up your time with. Explore the different websites. A lot of social media influencers are actually giving all of this information out on their channels, and most of us are following them. So try to keep up with whatever is happening online so you can explore tons and tons of things about your own personality. They say it takes around 21 days to develop a new habit, and maybe this is the time that you always needed to develop a new one. If you have a bad habit that you always wanted to get rid of, like you're always late to something or you wake up late and you're not motivated in the morning, try to explore tackling that in those days. If you have a good habit that you've always wanted to explore as well and develop, this is the time to do so. Spending a few consistent days and a few consistent hours per day on something will probably get you to a pro level by the time all of this is over. Thank you for watching. Stay home, stay safe.